We are at 3 minutes past, so I'd really want us to start rolling and see if we need to kind of skip slides, move around, or if someone's made updates that I could read out. Let's do this. As always, we are here for 30 minutes. Further discussion can be taken offline. This call is recorded. Please stay muted unless you're speaking or asking a question. And for the agenda, we will start with a reminder of our season 4 goals. We'll go into core KPIs and then each pod updates. And questions are welcome throughout. So diving in, just a weekly rehash reminder of our season 4 goals are focusing on value centers, from analysts to data providers to our protocol and app, MetricsDAO brand, and our contributors. With that, I'm going to give it to Aaron for the KPI update.
Yeah, thanks. So I got some numbers for us all. We're currently at 3,570 Xmetric holders. The goal may be around 5,000. So we're at 72% of that goal. Expecting that number to close here in a little bit, but I'm not sure if we're going to get to that full 5,000. So any views or ideas on that, let us know. Next is challenges. We've already ran 28 challenges this month. We've shipped none today, and the majority of the ones that will be coming this week are later, looking anywhere from 10 to 12 there. So definitely going to hit our challenge goal for the month, and pretty close already with only being halfway through. And then spend, we've already paid out roughly 47, almost 48,000 for the month. Target's closer to like 96. I do think we're forecasted to be closer to roughly 100,000. So I do think we'll be in the range of payouts. There are some things that take a little bit longer to get out the door than others, but yeah, we're still in the range of being anywhere between 95 to 105,000 payouts this month. So overall, from Xmetric challenges and partner spends looking good. One number I forgot to add here was monthly active analysts. We're currently at 160 monthly active analysts for this month across the app and Notion. Expecting that number to increase to get back us closer to that 270, 300 number as well. So yeah, and I am having some difficulties tracking the monthly active analyst number just because things are both across Notion and the app. If anyone is in here that would like to take a go at developing some form of tracking in the next 24 to 36 hours across both platforms to know the total number of unique users, I'd greatly appreciate that. I could use that both for MetricsDAO and for Flipside's leadership. So anyone wants to take a stab at that and try to get it over in the next 36 hours, I'd greatly appreciate it. That's all I had, Marina, unless anyone has questions.
Thanks, Aaron. A chance for anyone to chime in, ask questions, answer questions about the analyst count. All right, let's go over to conveniently analytics with Zook.
Hi, everyone. So the app is gaining traction. As you can see in the chart in the middle, the bar chart, these are the weekly submissions in the app. Every week, receiving more and more submissions in the app. So on the top of the slide, you can see 31 new analysts join, and we now have a cumulative unique number of analysts at 175, and 503 submissions total in the app, and 23,000 USDC in payments for the app, and 5,000 USDC in the last 7 days. So good numbers on the app. On the bottom left, I'm still showing some Notion data. I made it smaller this week, so 64 unique analysts submitted through Notion last week. So that's a stable number in the last 4 weeks. We're still running bounties in Notion whenever they are paid in tokens other than USDC. Last week we launched 6 challenges in the app and 6 in Notion, and this week we're planning 11 challenges. that's all for analytics. I'm ready to move on to peer review, please. Okay, so I think an important update in peer review is the new budget pool that we're using for reviews. So I'm showing a bit of data just to illustrate the problem we had, but basically spending on reviews was a little bit out of control. Very expensive payments for peer review were made because there was no limit to the number of people who could claim to review in the app. So as you can see, we had way more reviewers than we needed to complete reviews, and we had made them we had committed to paying them 6 USDC per review. So that system was not sustainable and was way too expensive for the DAO. So now what we're doing is we're using a fixed budget pool for reviews around 300 USDC, depending on the scope of the challenge. And this pool is split amongst the reviewers. So that will contain spending on reviews. Another thing related to that is we're thinking of maybe limiting the number of reviews for certain bad submissions. So there's a real case that I pulled where one submission received 18 reviews. 14 of them were scored scored the submission as bad, and 4 scored the submission as spam. So in that case, this spam or bad submission did not need to get 18 different reviewers to look at it. So we're thinking maybe once a submission reaches, say, 3, 4, or 5 bad scores or spam scores, we should stop reviews for that submission. We know it's bad. We don't need more people to waste their time into it. That's something for the future that we're planning, is to cap the number of reviews for very bad or spam submissions. Um, Otherwise, in news, we published the docs on networks. So we finished gathering some information about all our networks, and our colleague Gabriel published a page on our Gitbook with some basic information about networks. For example, the entry requirements to get in to that network, or just a brief overview of who they are. So we've published that in our docs, and we might have more pages about networks coming up in the next few weeks. Otherwise, just an interesting report from Patrick about course graduates. So the various courses that we're offering. Patrick found out that many of these graduates become real analysts that submit through MetricsDAO, either in Notion or in the app, and they manage to get paid, which means that they obtain good scores on their submission, scores that are comparable to the other analysts. So the conclusion of his report was that the education course that we're offering are successful, they are worthwhile, and the graduates are able to transition into paid work. So that's very good news, and congratulations to the education pod for their good work. This week, we're going to have to re-review a scavenger hunt, probably. So we ran a hunt about a month ago, and we're having a bit of problems with reports from people who think they should have gotten paid, but were not paid. So we're going to look into that again, and we might re-review all the submissions just to make sure that everything is addressed properly. So those are my updates for analytics and peer review. Please feel free to chime in or ask questions. Otherwise, I'm passing the mic back to Marina.
Thank you, Zook, for these updates. Does anyone have any questions they want to chime in with? Any comments? I am not hearing anything in this obligatory. Oh, there we go.
Zook mentioned documentation for networks. We have a 101 document that I believe now is done. I know there were some people still making some edits late last week, but I think that's officially, the document is officially done. So we are going to take that and we will add a sort of 101 page in the Gitbook so people have a guide to sort of figure out how to get started either making or joining a network. So if anybody has any questions about that for any users, you can always just forward them to the Gitbook and there will be a page for that.
Thanks, Gabe. And yeah, if anyone is still making changes, let us know to the starter pack, network starter pack document. I saw an emoji flash by, and I don't know if that was all good, go ahead, or I'm still editing it, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I'll
Matrix
dive in
David.
here then. As Zook mentioned, we shipped 6 challenges in Notion last week and 6 challenges in the app. That was awesome to see. Continue to prepare for that native token launch so that we can ensure, as we start to make those shifts, that you don't have any challenges that are live on the app that may need to be completed before the changes go live. As well, so we got some good preparation there, cleaning, and then finally we also, this last bullet point was we went through and cleaned up the Asana board with information that we have about the treasury, the direction of things going, connecting once again with Flipside as well as other individuals. We were able to clean up our Asana board to look much more clear, so we can actually have a true view of how things are going. This week, we're going to look to ship more than five or more challenges in the app, all done by the Bounty Bunch. Huge shout out to Adrian and Zook for doing that. We're going to ship another weekly challenge of Pine, which that's been going well. Just for context there, Pine does all the work. We're just helping fund those challenges, so there's activities to be done. It's a great use case, another prime example of how someone else can go out, build a network, build out that network, expand that network, grow that network, launch a marketplace, and potentially find other ways and opportunities to drive activity there. We're going to pay out all the review in the month of April and early May. This will also impact the treasury. So as mentioned, we were running challenges in the app. Realistically, it wasn't the total volume of reviews. It was just the payout structure that we had. We did set, say we would pay reviews anywhere from roughly $6.50. Based off that, what happened was everyone kind of gamed the system, went in and started reviewing. As I mentioned, we're 18 plus reviews on a poor submission is not something that we should be seeing. People should be able to move on from that and really focus time in the other places. So to kind of cut back on this, we did make some changes to the networks that have access to certain marketplaces to ensure that we, one, didn't have a large pool, so we weren't communicating tons of changes to tons of people. The next piece there was we actually did set a budget pool of 300. That was historically what we were paying when we were running all of our challenges through Notion per review, meaning the amount of time that people were spending there. So went back in, set that budget pool to around 300. We communicate that both in the copy as well as to those individual networks that are in those marketplaces. There's been no negative pushback. We've also highlighted with data, to show that historically this is what we have spent. And now it's on networks to kind of manage themselves to ensure, hey, if everyone wants to just to review to ensure that their network is strong and things are getting done correctly and receive, little monetary incentive, that's great. Or if the network wants to, kind of organize itself and only allow a few people to review certain challenges to ensure that, payouts higher for, a smaller group of reviewers in that network, that's also fine as well. It's now their job to figure out how they essentially want to review and incentivize each other. We'll continue to support the development of networks as well. If there's not leaders, we are kind of taking those on and being those reps until we find them. If networks need to be created, there's, operations of the DAO as a whole is looking at opportunities there and encouraging people. So we'll support there. And then we're going to work with James and Lamoka to kick off work for Eco. Have a call with them tomorrow. We have the funds. We're hoping to kick that work off. And as well as start planning for the graph. Lamoka's helping with the project management of it. Already reviewed the information, rescoped a lot of what each of these organizations had given us, to make it more actionable, help us understand timing so we can properly go back to them and articulate how we believe these should be run. I will say these organizations both wanted them to be shipped to a wider net of community members, but based off, just the budget available and the high value deliverable outcome that they want, we'll likely be tapping the Lamoka network to deliver against those analytics as well, because both would like to have these maintained long term. So expanding on that network as well to support these additional efforts. And over the past couple of weeks, we did have one major concern, which was the overspend and review. But this is the first week where I'd say confidently we're paying out everyone for the past. Moving forward, everything will be a $300 budget pool or less, depending on how the changes. So that is no longer a concern over a blocker for the ops team.
Thanks, Aaron, for this detailed update. Is there anything anybody wanted to ask or bring up before we go over to protocol dev? All right, let's go to protocol dev with Nomadic.
Hey everyone. Let's see, busy week. So we got basically 3 large things in flight. We have the cross-chain payment system, we have V2 of our labor markets, and we have the new N badge screen is what we're calling them internally, but that's going to be new marketplace and challenge creation flows with much more flexibility. All 3 of those are in solid development. Cross-chain and labor markets V2 are on the home stretch, so they're dev complete in air quotes, wrapping up testing this week. We'll keep you all posted. Team is crushing it. That's it.
Thank you. This is awesome. Any questions, anybody? If there are no questions, let's do biz dev with James.
Hey everyone. So last week we added things like CrossAngle as a data partner, as well as I went to Edge and Node's Build ETH event in SF in the Presidio last Friday. Really exciting. Got to hang out with Masari, Edge and Node, and then Near, and I got invited to another event they're hosting tomorrow night with Ref Finance. So super excited about that. Meeting a lot more people in the Bay Area that are in Web3. This week's priorities: so 38 total data partners, absolutely amazing. Waiting on the graph. So right now, all we're literally waiting for is an email sent to Sunslinger's email that has the official proposal. Super excited with that. And then this week, lots of meetings. Met with Nerd Academy earlier today, Kive, Ocean Protocol, Chainbrain, Women's Web3 Hub, and then like Aaron mentioned, meeting with Eco, and then I'm also meeting with DAppLooker. They had some questions about getting more involved in MetricsDAO, so that got moved from today to Thursday. So super excited, super exciting week. Should be good times. Pass it back to you, Marina.
Thanks, James. This was super cool. Any questions, anybody, before we keep going? If there are no questions, let's do GovOps with none, and you will see that we're trying something with Treasury and GovOps having their own slides. Let's see if that kind of sticks and lands. But for now, yeah, for this week, Nan, this is yours.
Hey everyone. Not a bunch of huge changes. There is some discussion going on the forum about the contractor policy, so we're not going to send that back quite yet until we have something kind of more solid to ask them. And then in the background, there's always just season 5 planning going on. And there's a proposal kind of floating around in drafts, but I'm not sure if it's ready yet. So maybe another meetup this week, maybe not. We'll see. That's all I got.
Thanks, Nan. So Meetup 18, what was that one about?
I'm not sure if Aaron, do you want to talk about it? If not, then we can hold off. But
Sorry, can you say that again, Nan?
do you want to talk about that proposal that was kind of in drafts, or do you want to hold it for later?
I'm gonna hold it, and the reason just because of the treasury stuff. So I'm not currently pushing that through, but it was just looking at a network to be another contributor. putting on that pause right now as we just dig deeper into the treasury and making sure that's in a good position. So just refocusing my energy for the time being closer towards the treasury and overall, operations and organization of the DAO before moving forward with pushing that forward.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Nan, and thanks, Aaron, for the details that you are able to give so far. Looking forward as that develops. And I don't think we have bills today, but we are trying to see if we'll have a treasury standalone slide just to kind of help us talk through as a DAO, have the weekly conversation about how we're doing, help everyone plan, and just ensure we're thinking about the upcoming season and our future, and doing the best we can that way. But I think this is updated, so I'm just gonna read it out on behalf of Bills. Past week paid all chains bounties for batches 1 through 7 from season 4. Liquidated Luna holdings for 52k USDC for our treasury. And then this week's priorities are to process review payments that have been mentioned already several times today in different contexts. Bridge USDC to Polygon to the Challenge wallet. And Bill is working on the treasury report, which I think might become a bigger focus in this slide in I think next week, hopefully. I don't want to speak for Bills, but that's the hope. And let's go to marketing since I can't exactly answer in-depth questions about the treasury slide. Alex, all yours.
Yep. So Twitter challenge bot live last week. So hopefully now when there is a new challenge in the app, there is a Twitter announcement for everybody's challenge notification pleasures. Grant Farm bot too. So hopefully all of our challenges will get on Blockworks Grant Farm to get some more traffic and get more people into the community. 301 course, we got a bunch of signups. Not everybody is qualified, but looks like we'll have a nice solid cohort for that. Paid ads revised, getting started with Karma, which includes Aaron, to your question, it will probably not be the next 36 to 48 hours, but one of the things that I've asked them to do is get us some stats on new analysts. Partner threads are scheduled, and we had our top listened to spaces, like 200 some people, 300 I think now listens to our spaces on the PayPay phenomenon. This week we've got data partner meet and spaces coordination. I'm going to reach out to them about. Going to do a promo thread for our Ethereum 101 course and working on the community promotion program to give people more ways to earn some sweet X metrics.
Alex, the only question I have for you is, as I continue to check Twitter, I think we're closing in on 8,000 Twitter followers. I was just wondering each week if you could kind of give us, I mean, that is our biggest platform. I know community could cover Discord. If you could cover Twitter, I just don't want your work to go unnoticed, to be quite honest with you. I know everyone's and a lot of people are supporting and helping, but you've been taking a lot of lead there. So would love to see the growth of our Twitter. I think those numbers are really important. It is our largest platform. And yeah, I checked last night or 2 days ago, we were at 7,000 and right now we're at 8,114. So just seeing a lot of growth there. I think it's just something that we'd want to highlight and maybe start to track as it's a metric that we can move. And, I think it's probably the most top of funnel metric we may actually have. I think Twitter's more of like a marketing qualified lead. We have some way that we can reach out to them and kind of market to them. And then when we get to our, Discord, we're at roughly 5,000. So there's a 3,000 gap there. Just want to kind of start to have everyone think about this funnel of Twitter, Discord, education, large group of core analysts, which is like 1,000, and then these sub networks. So yeah, if you can give us some Twitter updates on the wonderful work you're doing with the team, that'd be great.
Yep, got it.
Thanks to Crypto Friedman. We were just talking about it, Friedman or Friedman. Let me know so I get it right. And really cool on Twitter. And if there are no questions, let's go to education with Vida.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. As usual, we have been having a bunch of workshops with the partners and this week as well. And one thing that we had been discussing is the business model of education, and if we want to actually introduce paid offerings, how can education um, generate revenue and potentially become self-sustaining. So this is something that is going to be a major focus this week, is actually figuring out how, brainstorming how this business model can look like, and which courses and how can potentially become paid. And also about to start a Web3 Analytics 301 cohort, and we've had, as an Alex mentioned, we've had quite a good interest in signups. So yeah, I'm excited to be starting that this week as well.
Thanks, Vida. Are there any questions before we move to the next slide? Kurt pause. Nope, no questions. All right, let's wrap up this call with the community update. Last week, as Gabriel talked about and Zoop mentioned as well, we started working with network documentation. And this week that continues. The starter pack that's been already talked about earlier in this meeting, Gabe will help us get up on the documents and help everyone kind of get up to speed with the first version of what we're all about there with the networks. Our Metrics Minds weekly series is full swing. So last week, our Twitter followers actually voted on the dashboard that we would feature in more detail, and the Twitter poll got quite good engagement, and it picked Zaki Syed's dashboard on the Cricket Moments NFT collection. So we are, if you want to read that, that's on the MetricsDAO blog.metricsdao.xyz. You can kind of learn about how Cricket NFTs are doing and why they blew up. And this week we are going to run another Twitter poll and see what the community thinks we should write about, which dashboard we should pick, which one is the top one to feature this week. So we are doubling down on that, and there will be a few choices, so we'll see what the community picks this week. Also, we just today confirmed the date for this week's community call on Wednesday. That'll be May 17th at 9 a.m. Eastern. And the one and only Danner.eth will come on the community call to talk about payments and earning on the Metrics app, from the philosophy all the way down to kind of changes that were made, all the way down to how everyone can get involved in the process, and also how analysts can earn. Yeah, you're doing it for us. We appreciate it. You're doing the 9 a.m. Catch them all time zones slot, for which we are very grateful. And Sunslinger will interview Danner.eth and that call. So if you all would like to join and support us and kind of hear more about the payments philosophy, we would love to have you. Let's see. We have quite a few projects kind of in the works, in the thick of it, and you'll start to see updates on those kind of as they come out. We do have flawless onboarding that Gabriel is working super hard on. He's done user interviews, and we're going to also be reaching out to pods in terms of what every pod wants and needs and would love to see and do with the MetricsDAO onboarding. And that'll be the next phase of the flawless onboarding. So stay tuned for that. Another project that's kind of you will see a little bit more of soon is we have a new community partnership with another community, but more to come. That's just alpha. And we do still accept your sticker ideas, but we're starting to move towards making some with our other legend, and here the goat, our ghost. As far as concerns or blockers, not a concern, but we do miss Sandesh. He will be still on vacation this week and coming back around the weekend and early next. So we miss him. Not the same without him, crying tears, but we'll see him soon. And yeah, as always, beware of scammers, which we are trying new little initiative on that front. We're gonna put labels next to community or like contributors and administrators and moderators' names so that people can tell us apart and that we're legit. And that's about it for me on the community front. And that's actually the last slide as well. Anything anyone wanted to share, last minute thoughts, questions, comments in the chat? If not, it's really great to see you here every week, every Monday. So see you around and have a great week. Thanks all.
So
Bye.